Alright, we are live. It is, what day is it? It is Monday. It is Monday, you guys. Happy Monday to you. I got my water. Okay, cool. We are going to be picking back up on our fish guy here. Just seeing if there's a different brush I would rather have at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a brush I'd rather have this very moment. Maybe this guy. We'll see. Alright. So hope everybody had a good weekend. We are going to be working on the tail today. And then whatever we get done aside from the tail is just bonus fun. We are working with acrylic paints today. I'm using Americana from Deco Art today. Not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But that's what we're using. So, when we last left off, we were about to start in on our tail. This one might not be small enough. Because we need to have a finer point. Because I've got some small crevices here. And that one didn't really point up like I was hoping it was gonna. Alright, let's try this guy. This guy might work a little bit better. So I've got cutouts in the tail here. And that blank space I'm going to fill in with our black. So it doesn't matter if I don't have it white right, because the black is probably gonna like spill over the cutout section anyhow. But doing this will help get rid of some of our pencil lines that were taken over here. And like they don't have to be the same size on each one. Now I am getting a base coat of our fin color slapped in here. So this color kind of needs 2 passes before we start adding in the other colors. Now I have not mixed anything into this color. As of right now, this is the Desert Turquoise shade in this brand of paint. All right. So today's agenda is getting this tail fin, like the fin itself, done. And hopefully we'll have time to get the white put in on the spokes coming off of it. And if we get that done, we might bust out the black paint and start working on our background. While the rest of it is drying, I want to do the gold, but I want the black done first. I just kind of think it might be a little bit easier to deal with that way. I might be wrong, but that's kind of the order I think I want to do it in. We'll see. So again, this is just pass number 1 on this color. As we get this filled in. All right. So we're going to try to do this fin similar to the others. Don't know if that's quite gonna work, but we'll see. Turn this guy so I don't get my hand in the wet paint here. Alright, so just want to be careful. Moving around the edge of that. All right. Get that popped into there. Just want to try to be careful on the edge of our little spooky spine things here. I don't want to accidentally make them thinner than I had planned on, because that's not going to help us. Like, not really. Alright. So we'll get this kind of colored into there. And then the edge of Mr. Finn be about there. You okay?
Yeah. I'm refilling my lens wipe case.
No. This guy's a little bit thinner. Maybe a little bit thinner than he should be, but that's okay. Right? Not everything is symmetrical. But it'll be okay. Now, if I was having a really rough time, we could just paint in the entire fin and then put this cutout back with the black paint entirely. So don't worry too much if you kind of dip into the shape itself. Oh, I never... Wait, did I? Maybe I did. It didn't look like I had fixed that fin, but maybe we did. Maybe I'm just having trouble seeing which lines are which here. That happens sometimes. So, I mean, that's not a huge shock there. Alright, so just gonna fill this last little section in here. Carefully. Well, as carefully as we can. I mean, it is just acrylic paint, so we can come back and fix it. If we need to, we can just paint over. It's not, like, deeply unfixable. So we should be good there. I didn't get any speed fill editing done last night, but I did start to get some of the let me just do a maintenance rinse here. I did start to get some of the extra Honey I Joined a Cult edited. So that was good in that respect. because we definitely needed to get that done. I mean, I didn't have to get it done last night. I could have waited. But at the same time, I know my brain, if I wait too long, I'm going to forget I need to edit it. So, just better. Just better that we get it done sooner than later. Alright, so I'm just coming in and starting my second pass here on the main color of our tail fin. These sections over here dried fairly quickly, so no reason not to come in and work on them. All right. So I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna add any like seagrass or anything. I probably won't. Just because it's gonna make this be a lot busier. And I don't think I want to get this to be any busier than it already is. I think we're probably sufficiently busy enough in this guy. Alright. Just gonna be careful. Now, if I do accidentally wobble my way into the spiny part here, not a huge deal because we're going to paint that white just to help the gold stand out a little bit better. And the white will help cover up our pencil line. The gold eventually would have covered it up, but in the test I did, I was still seeing it after like 3 coats. I thought I could still see it. So the white will just help take care of that. And, you know, hopefully we won't need as many coats on the gold. I won't be surprised if we need a few. Sometimes the metallic colors need a couple of passes to make them pop. Depending on the medium that it is. And the type of gold paint it is. Your more expensive gold paint probably wouldn't need as much. Probably. Like, I saw some really fancy gold paint on Amazon, but that was a very tiny jar for anywhere between like $12 to $25, and I'm like, uh, I'm not paying that much. Now, we could have tried to gold leaf it. I've not used gold leaf before. So I didn't want to attempt it on this with it being the first go at it, and I don't have any gold leaf anyway. I would have had to go on and hunt some down. And I don't think that stuff's all that inexpensive either. I could be wrong. But this isn't going to be like a art gallery piece or anything, so I didn't quite want to go to that level of gold. I'm okay painting a couple coats of a $3 bottle of paint instead of buying a super expensive one and not knowing if I'm gonna have to multi-coat it, you know? At least with this brand of, well, I've actually never used this brand, but with metallics in general, in the craft paint section, I kind of know where the expectation bar sits. Kind of thing, so I was like, okay. Kind of know what I'm getting myself into. And at least it was more painty and less glittery, because sometimes you'll get metallics and it's like glitter. It's like, no, that's not at all what this was supposed to be. If I wanted glitter, I would have just bought glitter. Like, you can see the mica in it. For sure. But at least I believe it's mica. But it's more of what I expected. Okay. Now, that is gonna kind of start to dry there. I'm gonna grab our crystal blue. Make sure we give that a good shake. All right. Same company. All right. So, just gonna wet this fine liner. Just to kind of get the bristles pulled in. And I'm gonna start to fill this in and pull it up. And I'm not gonna clean my brush yet. I'm gonna grab a little bit of our base color here. And just kind of see if we can pull that together just a little bit. Right, just to try to pull that up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna rinse. Grab another little bit of water and squeegee off some on the side. And I'm just gonna come back in and just kind of go over that light blue again. And it's okay if we accidentally fill in where that black section's gonna be. Not a big deal. Because we're gonna come back in with the black and paint that in. That's why I'm gonna do that last. So if we get any wobble hands or just happenstance of accidentally filling part of it in, we're okay. All right, I'm gonna grab some of our fuchsia. All right, now I've cleaned my brush and dried it a little bit. It's not super dry. And I'm gonna work on the tip of the fin. And start pulling that towards the middle. Did you feel that?
Feel what?
That like thuddy rumble?
I did not. Check on your mom.
I don't know if it came from outside or not. I don't know if it was a vehicle.
I'm gonna check on your mom to be safe.
Don't know how he didn't feel that. The cats have been getting into trouble this morning. Peanut knocked over a bunch of books and got himself stuck in the other room. I was in the bathroom and I heard a sound of stuff falling and I was like, what was that? Alright, I didn't necessarily have to clean the brush for that. A little bit there, but we might as well, right? Now I'm gonna clean it and dry it. Grab a little bit of water. Actually. Okay, let's try that again. Now, I might need to add a little bit more of our fuchsia color in here. Everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a car. It's been a fair amount of dump trucks going by this morning. Alright, this color has been pretty transparent, so it's been looking a bit purple as we've been attempting to work it in on our top of our turquoise here. My neck caught. That wasn't fun. Alright. So I'm gonna try to carefully get up against our the fuchsia line in there. Alright. Get that. Is it thundering? Because it just did it again.
Maybe it wasn't your mom. Oh, your mom is banging around a little bit because she was rearranging her stuff on her drawers.
This almost sounded like an explosion rumble, though. Somebody blowing stuff up again? There's no lightning anywhere near us. Weird. Very weird. Alright, so gonna bring this up into here. Okay. I'm gonna grab some of our turquoise. And just kind of work that in there. Like, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch. Because I'm gonna grab a little bit of our water. And I'm gonna start back here. And just kind of try to pull that forward. Through the whole length of it now. I probably got a little bit light. So I'm gonna rinse and grab some more of our desert turquoise. And I'm gonna like try to pull that into the lighter section. There. So let's kind of do it this way. All right. Rinse. And we'll start to work on the edge back here. And then we'll work our way back towards the middle. As best as I can. I'm gonna probably grab some more of our turquoise here. And probably pull that towards the edge. Just to kind of vary the color here a bit. Because we've kind of lost a bit of our body color there. So tired of seeing this advertisement. Like, go post in somebody else's channel. Alright, so just grabbing a little bit more of our turquoise. And I'm gonna like work on pulling that back into tail there. All right, we're gonna dip and squeegee off the side. So we don't want to be bringing a whole bunch of water on up into here. That's not what I'm looking for. If you feel like you need to re-wet your brush, give it a good rinse. Oh, hold on 1 second. Give it a good rinse and then do the whole squeegeeing off the side of the brush onto your water cup. Just, you know, to get rid of the excess water. We just want a slightly damp brush. We don't want a completely saturated brush. Like, we're not doing watercolor. We don't need that much water. Okay. And just kind of rinse and repeat our way along here. Alrighty. They were saying we had a chance of thunderstorms. And then they kind of pushed it back. And then I think they might have lowered the chance. So I'm not really sure if we still have that big of a chance or not. All right. Turquoise time. All right. So rinsey rinse. There is water on my metal band on the brush there. And I really didn't want to drop that big of a bit of water onto this. Like that would have just been too much. I mean, we would have been able to fix it. It wouldn't have been piece ruining. That would just be a bit dramatic. I mean, it's acrylics. We can fix it. It would have been a pain to fix it, but it's not like it was unfixable. All right. So we'll just work on our next fin guy here. And you know what? You can take this as far down the fin as you want. If you don't want it to go that far, then don't take it down that far. That is completely up to you. Alright. I don't think I need to add any turquoise back into that one. Like, sometimes I get a little carried away. And it's like, oh yeah. Let's see what we can do about that. But other times we can kind of keep it together. I don't think we really need to add any back. And I think this is one of those times where we might not need to. That's probably pretty good. This other fin, though, it's kind of... I don't know, it feels a little lacking in our purple. We'll leave it be. I feel like I should add more, but at the same time, it's kind of dry now. For a second there, I was about to be like, oh shoot, that should be gold, but it's really only going to be like a section. Like the whole thing shouldn't be. Part of it should be that light color. Sorry. Time to adjust the seating position. The legs are achy today. Alright, so we'll take this guy. Kind of to there. We'll work on this one. Could be a little bit better, but we're gonna blend it now. See how this blends out. Sometimes they blend a little better than others. All right. That's probably pretty good there. I'm actually kind of surprised the fuchsia hasn't stained the bristles on this. This is a white nylon. The teal has, the turquoise. A little bit. Alright. So I'm probably going to try to add a little bit more into this because our fuchsias definitely just kind of becoming a strange little suggestion on our tail fin here. All right, let's see. Get our wet brush in here, or well, our damp brush. I don't know if I'd really consider it full on wet. All right. Now I am actually rinsing this and drying it in between, just because I'm not sure how much paint it's pulling up with it. Sometimes it kind of looks like it is pulling up paint with it, and other times it doesn't. Okay. All right, we got two more. I might need to put the tiniest bit of turquoise, or yeah, the dark desert turquoise out. Potentially. Have to see how this goes here. Because it looks like it's trying to dry. We can still get a little bit more out of that. At least for this one. Alright. Go ahead and rinse that guy. Again, just get the brush wet. Scrape off any extra. And come back in. Alright. So back into our fuchsia. And we'll just kind of work on pulling that towards the turquoise. As best as we can. Alright, let's go ahead and rinse. I have a paper towel on the side here that I am drying off on. Same paper towel we've been using. It dries. I have a regular towel, I just don't know where it is. I think I put it away. I have a painting towel somewhere. But when I don't use the painting towel, I will try to get as much use out of a paper towel as I can. I mean, it's gonna dry, so. It wasn't like completely saturated in paint. I mean, that's the difference. I mean, if I'm just wiping a brush off and it's just a little bit of water and very little paint getting put into the towel, then we can reuse it a couple of times. Like, I'm using the same paper towel that I started out with drying my glue brush on the tissue paper project. I've been using that one for months. Alright. So back into our desert turquoise. Okay, rinsey rinse yet again. And we'll bring our damp brush, I guess would be the better descriptor. On up into here. Just kind of try to blend that harsher line where we left off up into the other colors. That was kind of a loud truck. All right. So I'm gonna try not to take this too far down. Alright, go ahead and rinse. And same thing on this fin that we've been doing. And this is just, you know, a blend until you're happy kind of thing. You can keep going back and forth as much as you want. Okay. So now I need some white. Gonna make sure that we've got that really mixed good. So I have found that this paint needs a really good mixing. All right, I'm gonna grab that same brush. Like, this doesn't have to be completely spot on, but it has to be pretty careful. Getting our little spiny spokes put in here. And I don't want to be too rushy with this. So I want to try to keep our circle looking like a circle as much as we can. I mean, solution to that would be getting a dot tool if you don't have a stencil, or if when you try to fill in your circle it got a little out of control, would be finding the right sized dot tool and just doing that for the outer and the inner. That is an option. If you don't want to have to try to get this painted in. It's not going to help you much on like the spokies, but it'll help you with the tip of our little spoke spine guy here. Okay. So we probably will get to starting the background today. So that's exciting. I wasn't sure we would. I really wasn't sure how long the tail itself was going to take. All right. I'm not doing too bad here. There are times where my hand is a lot less steady. Now, I'm only doing one coat on this white because that's all we're really gonna need. Like, this doesn't have to be a flawless pass on the white. The only thing that might get another pass on our white might be the eyeball. And that's if I have enough white left over in this puddle that I put out. Okay. So this is just to help our gold paint pop a little bit better. And then I don't have to worry about any of our numerous pencil lines trying to shine through the gold paint. All right. So, gonna fill in this ring here. It got a little lopsided. Not too bad though. That's not too bad. Now, any seams that might look a little odd, we're not going to worry about that because we're going to outline stuff with our pen. So I'm probably going to have to spray seal this guy. Providing the pen cooperates and we are able to use it. Because we've had those issues in the past with the white pen. Like, first time I used it, it was great. And then the second time I went to use it, it was kind of struggling the whole time. And I guess I just used more of the ink than I realized, because when I went to use it again for something else, it was practically empty. So it might have been why it was struggling. It was running out of ink. So like right in here where my brush got a little carried away with the color on the edge of that purple there. Our pen should probably be able to clean that up. Okay. After this, we'll have one more spooky guy to go. So that's not so bad. All right. One more guy to go. All right. So we'll get that. And after we get this guy, I do want to do just one more quick touch up on the eyeball, because some of the white on the eyeball might be showing. So I just want to make sure that that's looking pretty good. Alright. Plus it'll give that section that we just did a chance to dry a little bit more. So this is approximately, not approximately, it is an 8x10 canvas that we are working on here today. This is a stretched canvas. I generally don't work on panels. The panels piss me off, to be perfectly honest. Because the corners have a tendency to get banged up. And they have a tendency to warp on me, personally, so I get mad. So I just tend to use the stretched canvas. One less hassle that I don't have to deal with. Alright, that color's pretty much done. Well, I guess I can sit back there till we're ready to do something with it. Alright, so we have Lamp Ebony Black. I'll give this a really, really, really good shake here. Alright, so I'm going to work in small amounts in this color. Because I'm probably going to have to add some more to our palette. To figure out what color brush I want to use. Alright, now this is an extremely small brush. And I'm not planning on using this brush for the whole thing. But I am going to use it in these smaller sections here. That are going to require a slightly gentler approach. Just so we don't take out a section that we don't want to. Now, I don't know if any of this is going to require a second coat, like the black. All I can do is hope that it doesn't. And I'm gonna try to leave myself enough leeway here. Enough of a border cutting in around these more delicate sections. So that way, when I grab a bigger brush to come in and get the other spaces around this fish that I shouldn't accidentally clip anything, because that would suck. Fixable, but time consuming. For sure. Alright. Now I still need to get the inner circle here. See if we can do this carefully. Probably gonna have to do a maintenance rinse on this guy soon. That's not bad. Alright. Don't know if this is the brush I'm gonna keep using for a lot of this, because I can see where some of the little hairs are kind of doing their own thing here. But I'm also not sure about swapping brushes at this point. Right? Because I don't want to change how it looks like it's covering. I mean, so far, it's covering pretty good. And there's a little bit over here that looks a little thin. I'm not sure if I am just seeing things. Or if it's like this brush. Could technically really be either. Sorry if my head cuts into the shot. Trying to make sure that this is getting covered. As best as we can. All right. And with the glare of my lights hitting this paint while it's wet, makes it a little hard to see at times. But you know what? That's okay. Because we are just trying to take our time here. Like, we've come this far, I don't want to mess up anything at this point. Like, you can see the difference already. That the black paint is making for sure. Again, I'm just kind of cutting in around our fishy friend here. So you want to rinse this brush here in just a minute. Let me get our little circly guy here. All right. Now, if we aren't like right up on the edge, it's fine. When we go to outline, it should take care of that. Okay. So I know we're leaving some roughness. That's on purpose. We'll come back. We will definitely come back. This is too big. Don't know if this is gonna be nope. The point didn't point. Guess I'm gonna have to use this guy. Okay. So just want to get these little guys filled in. So that way, just have to worry about making my way around. Now we still have to put our little crescent-y shapes back in. but that'll probably be one of the last things I do with the black paint. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna go back to this one. Because we have to get on up in here. I'm not so sure that that other guy we were using was gonna quite work. Alright. Now we have used this guy plenty of times. Can tell that I liked this brush at least at one point, because the ferrule came loose and I taped it back on. So it usually means I didn't want to get rid of it. And at least liked it enough to try to keep going with it. I think that's just the way the light's reflecting off of that spot. I mean, I've gone over it like 4 times. All right. So I'm probably going to need to cut in around the bubbles too, realistically. All right. Now we're gonna paint those eyelashes back in. So those are gonna disappear here for a minute. Or at least for a little bit. We will bring them back shortly. Alright. So far, it's not so bad. The colors are popping pretty good there. So our actual bubble is hopefully gonna be gold. Hopefully. There. Got a little section in here. It's being a little stubborn. And that's okay. We'll get it. But again, I want to make sure I've cut in around this guy enough. So that when I come back, with the slightly bigger brush, I can just concentrate on filling in all the larger sections. I don't have to worry about getting too close and messing stuff up. Now, I know this is going to be a really wobbly bubble. Where the gold paint is going to go. That is just going to be the price of making these bubbles this way. Like I could have just gotten some kind of like circular object and dunked it into the paint, like a bottle cap or something. And just kind of stamped and touched up the edges if it needed to be. Like there was a couple ways we could have done that. But we're doing it this way this time. Alright. Do a maintenance rinse. Okay. Will I ever remember to turn those Kindle notification sounds down? Probably not. Probably not. The only time I ever think of it is when it's gone off during stream. When I don't have time to deal with it. Alright. So see about filling in this section. I'd rather fill this in small. Just to be on the safe side. Okay. But, like, bubble number 1 looks fairly good. So target is going to be the white circle when we come back with the gold paint. We're probably going to be a little bit thicker than that line, probably. So a little bit of it might be a little bit brighter. That's okay. It'll be all right. All right. Kind of feel like I put a little too much paint down in this puddle. It kind of feels like it's drying faster than I'm going through it. For a second there, I wasn't sure what time it was. was like, oh dang. How long have we been doing this? Time flies when you get involved. I will say it is later than I expected it to be. Alright, so those two bubbles came out okay so far. Again, they're not going to remain white. I am going to fill the white line in with gold. The white line is just there to help make the gold pop. That's all. Just want to make sure that I've cut in around these guys far enough. Just need to make sure we've got a good amount of distance here. So this section in here, I am going to more than likely fill in with small brush. I mean, we're already here. Okay. So, just gonna be super careful in as many spots as we can be. Can't believe how far ahead I am and stuff going up on the YouTube channel with us doing every other day. Like, I'm posting stuff for July. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Don't think I had quite thought it would get that far ahead. I'm not quite sure how I managed to get it that far ahead. but we definitely are. It's kind of amusing. Like, I'm gonna have enough honey. I joined a cult to take it probably into August. I'm still gonna get some more recorded though. And I'm gonna need to get stuff recorded for when we're away. And get that edited. All right. Coming back around this way. Sorry, I'm just trying to be careful. And failing miserably. All right. There. Silly paintbrush. You wiggled there. I will say the other brush probably did a little bit better around our circles, but the other ones look a little wobbly too, so. Okay. Let's work on getting our circles filled in here. Okay. So this black's not so bad. It's not a bad black. Alright, I'm gonna rinse my brush here. It's been a minute. Just to keep anything from trying to dry up on in there. Alright. So, getting this filled into here. Hopefully this will conceal this pencil line. Hopefully. Oh, such a bad allergy day. My eyes feel gunky. But I also had to watch the guinea pigs, and the largest container we had to put them in while their cage got deep cleaned this morning was one of the containers that we keep our Timothy hay in to keep the cat out of it. So my face was kind of like right in the hay dust. It's amazing I only sneezed once. But I also had gloves on my hands just to make sure my hands didn't get too itchy. And then the doggies figured out that the piggies were at a much easier height for them to see. So then they were all excited. They're like, I want to see the piggy. So I had to pick the piggy up so that they could smell the piggy. They're pretty good with them. They kept trying to lick the pig. I'm like, no, let's not lick the pig. Huh?
I lick the pig.
No. No piggy licking. I think they wanted to play with the pigs, and I'm like, no, no. You guys won't play gentle enough. That and cow was like right there. So I was trying to keep an eye on him. So I let them smell each pig. Not cow, though. Cow's not allowed to smell the pigs. Cows tried to make off with a pig before when we were sitting on the bed with them. I'm like, no. No pig for you. There's a reason we have chicken wire encapsulating our cage. Because we have one of those CNC cages. So that they've got a decent amount of room to move around in. But the openings on those are fairly big. So we put the chicken wire on the outside of it to keep little kitty arms from snaking into the cage. And poking a pig. We don't want any eyeballs poked. No injuries. We don't have the best exotic vet around here. Only one of the vets in the area that we're aware of really does exotics. And oh buddy, they are expensive. And I mean, they don't do that much for guinea pigs around here. They just don't. I was just trying to clean that up because that got really misshapen there. But, I mean, you could kind of see the effect the black is having already. Which is kind of fun. It's really making those fish body colors come alive quite a bit more. Yeah, we're gonna need to get a bit more paint down, although we did use a good portion of that. That we did. So that's pretty good. Okay. So let's go ahead and rinse row. Alright. We need our paint. And I'm gonna put the fresh puddle down. Because if I put it down on top of the existing puddle, we're gonna get chunks of that getting picked up into our fresh paint. It's just how that paint behaves when it gets wet after it's starting to dry. And that's not the look that I am going for. Alright, so again, I'm just cutting in around our fish here with a smaller brush. And then we'll come back with a bigger brush. Oh, I missed. Shit. I missed, adding the fuchsia to the inside of that circle. On that little spoke there. Alright. So we'll just work on filling in this section. We need to go back and fill in those cutouts, actually. Next, maintenance rinse. Which will probably be coming up here. Relatively soon. It's like I don't want to get too far. And this guy's doing a pretty good job covering pencil lines and what have you. That was a little bit of a thin spot. I mean, the thin spots might not be so noticeable once we get everything else in. My eyes just feel like they're full of gunk. Just not making this easy today. Sorry, I'm not sure if I was out of the camera or not there for a second. Alright, I think I want to grab that other brush. Might be better off with it. The tiny one. Alright. So, see if I can get my hand in here. What a fuzz. I don't know what that was. That was strange. That was definitely strange. Alrighty. Alright, so we got that. And we'll just kind of work on filling in this section. Being super careful around our white paint. Because I want that to stay white at the moment. Alright. We've almost finished cutting in around our fish. Alright. No, I'm just not quite satisfied with the border. On that. Feel like it's a little close. So I'm just gonna extend that. Just to give us a little bit more wobbly room. Okay. So we'll fill in this section between these two guys. Where'd you go?
Restroom, coffee, wandered aimlessly.
Do I need to stop?
Nah, you're good.
Now, you still have your game tonight, or did anybody cancel?
Still have it tonight.
Okay. All right. Again, we're really close to the white section, so I want to be careful here. Well, as careful as we can be, put it that way. I mean, it is me after all. We all know how much my hand likes to shake at times. All right. So far, so good. On the journey of getting this background color popped in. Alright, so I'm gonna use the little brush in between these guys. It's just less potential of something going wrong. This brush doesn't do the greatest with coverage. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to touch up this section. Once it dries, I might. But the other brush I had to touch up a little bit too, so. That's just more or less hard to see if I got all the spots with the lights, really. Okay. Now, I'm not going to take this all the way down the side of the canvas with this brush. We will, but not with this brush. But like I said, I want to have a little bit of a buffer zone. Just in case. The hand decides to go off script here. Because this hand has before. Alright. Okay. Now. See about following this one. Sorry I'm being quiet through this section, but I'm really trying to be careful. So I'm trying to make sure I'm paying attention as much as I can. So what's everybody up to today? You guys working? My background noise. And how did everybody's weekend go? You know what everybody was up to? So we didn't do much this week. We went grocery shopping. No, we didn't. That was last week. We went, what did we do? Oh, we had to get the car serviced. And we had to get a Mother's Day gift. That's what we did. That was about the extent of it. I got some work done on the tissue paper project. And got some recording done. That's about it. Aside from like regular housey things that had to get taken care of. And doggo things. Didn't really get all that much done. Okay. So we've got a couple more spooky guys to get filled in here, filled in around. And then I might do So I still need to do the crescent shapes back on the body. Or some kind of shape. I might not do crescents. I might just make up shapes. But do I want to do those before I finish the background? Or after? Kind of thinking maybe that should get done before I really go after the background here. Because then my hand's not potentially getting into wet paint. So I don't know how long it's going to take the background to dry here. This brush hasn't been doing too bad. Just a couple of touchy ups here and there. Probably because it's coming off so thick on this brush. I know it doesn't seem like it's all that thick, but the way it's kind of coming on off of it, it's a little thick in spots. I feel like there's a fuzz in here that I keep tapping. But I'm not sure. I couldn't really get a good look. If it was there, it is part of the paint now. That much is certain. It's painted to it now. Like sometimes if it's a lighter color, I can see it. And sometimes I'm lucky enough where I can manage to pull it out. Other times, nope. It just becomes part of the piece at that point. It's like, oh, okay, you live there now. Right. Like, I'm seeing something in that white paint section. And at this very moment, I'm not sure if I'm actually seeing something or if it's like pencil line. Mm. If it's a fuzzy, it lives there now because this particular get off of there. This particular canvas has been wanting to get holes poked in it, and I don't want to fix another hole. I mean, if one shows up and I have to fix it, I have to fix it. But I don't want to be creating a problem that wasn't really a super problem. Alright. I always get a little bit nervous when I'm on this angle. Like certain directions, it's okay. But then other directions, it's kind of not. And I feel like I'm too close. Or that I can't see where I need to be. This guy. Actually, I'm gonna make black. Because that's where that one feels like it should be. Okay. So, let's not spill that, please. Got a little bit of black paint stuck in there. So let me just take a second. Try to see if I can get it out of there. Gently. It's probably as good as that's gonna get. Okay. So let's grab some more of our paint. Because I used what we had down there. Gonna put a little more out than we have so far. Alright, so start to fill in these guys. as best as we can here. Okay. So these ones I will probably outline in pen. Because they're just going to be a bit easier to deal with. In pen. All right. Nope. Had a feeling I was going to do that. All right, so wherever that part of my hand was sitting was still wet. Ah, okay. I see it. So these guys, I'm okay if they're not precise. Like, I want to make sure that we get the space that I left open filled in. But it can go a little bit outside. That shape. Okay. So, how do we kind of thinking maybe like some leafy shapes. Of various sizes. All right. So let's get all of this filled in here. A little different than the original design that I had sketched out, but that's okay. Sometimes things just take a different turn. And that is more than all right. And these shapes also don't all have to be the same. They can be different. Alrighty. So that's a couple. Do I want to put any on the back of the fish? I don't know. Like, we can also put it in the lighter colors, but I don't know that I want to. I need to do the eyeball, right? But if I do it now, it's gonna like vanish into the background. So I think I might have to wait. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of make some shapies. Just some shapy guys. All right. And one more. There. All right. I think that's probably enough black splotches. Huh. Okay. I actually do have a little bit more uh, thin spots than I realized. And this brush is too big. I mean, it's not necessarily too big, but it's bigger than I want right now. Like, wider than I want. Okay, that'll probably be a little bit better. And let's work on getting this popped on in here. So hopefully next week we'll start our doodle portion. I'm not going to do a whole lot of doodling. I'm only going to add the doodling where it really feels like it needs it. Just trying to get our edge done here. Alright, we will probably need more paint than what I have put down to make it all the way. But that's not a surprise. It's not like this was a mixed color, so I'm okay with working in smaller amounts. So get this side. Okay, now if you're working on a surface that you don't want to get paint on, then totally would suggest putting a piece of paper down, newsprint, craft paper, whatever, parchment, if you need to protect your surface. I don't care about my surface, because this is contact paper. I can replace this when it gets icky. Not a big deal. Alright. So we're just kind of working our way. Alright. Oh yeah, definitely gonna need some more of this. So I'm gonna get the gold outline around the eyeball before I even attempt to start putting in my eye there. I was trying to do it now. I'm definitely gonna lose my place. So it was just a little splotchy in that spot. That's all. Like where I was using the small brush. Not a huge deal. But because I kind of cut in around the other shapes, I don't have to get as close. With this guy, so that's good. Alright, turn this guy carefully. Some more black paint put out. I'd rather keep putting paint out than put out way more than I needed and waste some of it, you know? Doing it this way just makes a little bit more sense for me. Alrighty. It's like this section. Just getting the sides and whatever we didn't get with the small brush. This won't take nearly as much time. Since we've got this bigger brush guy. I mean, I still want to be careful. I still need to be a little bit careful. But we don't have to be as precise, especially on the sides. Okay. And you're probably going to get paint on you. So, if that's a problem, then you might want to put gloves on. I'd go with the clearer gloves, so that way you can see. Or some kind of color that you can see the black paint on. So that way you realize if you have black paint on you. Essentially. If you use black gloves and black paint, you might have paint on a section of glove that you didn't realize and then touch something that you didn't necessarily want black paint on. So that's just where that concern comes from. Have I done that? No. Not with gloves. I tend to not wear gloves when I paint. Because I have not found a size on gloves that actually fit my hand that don't get bunchy. If I go down a size, then they're too tight. And when I go up a size from the too tight, they are super, super loose and bunchy. I just can't find a happy in between. All right. So that gold should really pop. On this background. The fishy colors themselves are really starting to come to life. Okay. Alright, so get a little bit more paint here. And work on this. Now I do want to be careful here along the edge, because we've got these guys pretty close. Just don't want to get carried away. Because it can happen, right? You know, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna slap this paint on here, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no. What did I do? I didn't think I got that close. Again, it's acrylic paint. It's fixable. It would just be a little bit of a pain to fix, but fixable. Alright, I'm probably gonna have to get a little bit more paint out here. Not too much more, but more than likely a little bit. Didn't think I had quite enough out. I might surprise myself though. Okay, so this is just kind of breaking up any potential splotches. All right. Again, want to be careful. Started to get a little careless there. The corner was getting a little carried away there in spots. We might actually have just enough, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Alrighty. We're almost there on the background. Almost. Just have a little bit more. To work through here. Alright. So let's get this side. All worked in here. This isn't a bad black. I wasn't sure I was going to feel about it. It's a little different from the last black I had. And as it's drying, it does feel a little gray, but not that much. Like, not enough to be a problem. And on the front, it definitely looks black. Alright. So just want to get our rounded edge here. Might need to add just the slightest, smallest amount here. Yeah, you know what? We are. Not too much. Alright. So we'll get this filled into here. All right. Getting there. What time is it? Okay. So I'm just gonna carefully drag the brush on in through there. Again, just trying to fill in any thin areas, any sections that looked a little splotchy. Like over here looks pretty good. Like we look pretty good. Really happy with how that filled in. All right. That's not bad. Let me work on getting this guy cleaned up here. Definitely not done. We still have to add the gold paint in. Alright. Sorry, this guy's just being a little stubborn. With the black paint still in there. Alright. Dump that. And we're going to get a little bit more. TW for tap water. So I know that's not a bottle I should be drinking out of. That's what that's about. Alright. Okay, I think we'll start up here because this side looks drier. And we'll get our paint shook up here. So this is folk art, pure gold. And I'm gonna turn my lid around here, my lid. Now this stuff I am gonna work in very small amounts. Now I shook that pretty good and it still seems a little stringy. So there might just not be much I can do about that. Okay. Oh, right. I still had to put the eyelashes back in. I forgot about that. You have a doggy. Hi.
Uh-huh.
You have a dog.
Yep.
I didn't know if you realized.
Just had to finish writing something. Hi, buddy.
Alright. So, just trying to carefully fill this in. This will need at least 2 coats, if not 3. Just because of how transparent it is. And that's okay. I was expecting that. It's not like we're a stranger to that. It's fine. Okay. So we're gonna have to let it dry in between coats. Now, do I want to pen the eyebrows or eyelashes in, or... I mean, it kind of works on the black without adding... without adding, white. Alright, I'm not gonna do more than that. The 2 was probably enough. What happened here? Hold on. Guess I just missed a spot. Somehow. Oh. Alright. That is slightly nerve-wracking. Trying to get around our little bubble guy here. Ever so slightly. Like, it's not too bad. But this is gonna take a minute to dry in between the coats on it. Now, maybe one coat will be enough. I don't know. Kind of depends on how thick coat one ends up being. And what it looks like when coat one is dry. But I kind of feel like there's a little too much white underneath. We'll see. We'll see. So I gotta figure out what the heck I'm doing for dinner. I don't really know. I kind of want homemade chicken nuggets, but I don't know if my panko is still good. And I don't know if my chicken's thawed. My chicken might not be thawed. Maybe I'll do pan-fried chicken nuggets tomorrow. I have chicken nuggets. I usually bake them in the oven, though. Alright. See, I've got black paint all over my hands. Now we're going to outline everything in a gold pen that I have. So that'll help tie everything together. He kind of thought I was gonna go with a more yellowy gold, and I'm like, oh no. I can't go with a more yellowy gold. It definitely will not match the pen. If we go with a more yellowy gold, and I'm not even sure that the color I have is really going to match the pen. But the other one would have obviously not been anywhere near. So the other one, as it's drying, is looking pretty good. So maybe we did just need that white under it. Because this is actually not bad. Not sure if I'm going to outline the gold sections in the gold pen. I might. Just to help everything be a little more tied together. Hi, Mr. Ant. You don't belong there. Nope. Sorry, Mr. Ant. I don't know where y'all are coming from, but where you don't belong is on my desk. Sorry. Alright. So a little of this is actually going quite a long ways. So 2 coats. Probably going to be more than enough. Since we had that white there. It was more that I was worried about the pencil lines, because I could still see them before we did that. Like, even though in one direction you looked at it, you didn't see them, when it, like, you turned, you could. I was like, oh, that's a problem. So the only way to attempt to fix that is to add a little bit of white underneath of it. And that helps hide the pencil line that didn't want to come up. Now the pencil line is really only a problem because I made it dark enough to be seen on stream. So if I hadn't been streaming it, I would have had those pencil lines a little bit lighter. Alright, now I am going a little bit slow on this because I don't want to finish this today, like the gold paint, because then that means next week's going to be really quick on the finish. And since I'm not going to have time to finish it today, like I don't want next week's stream to only be like a half an hour. I mean, it's not going to be a half an hour, but I would at least like to get a little bit done. So this one's being a little bit streaky. It probably doesn't look like it on the camera. I don't think I'm zoomed in enough for you to see how streaky it's looking. Which is why we're doing 2 coats. Or at least why I'm trying to do 2 coats. It's just the nature of metallics. They can be that way. Okay, not bad. But yeah, so far, and that's a pretty good shine on that. I'm actually kind of impressed. That's a fairly decent metallic. Now, I think we'll stop there today, because that way it gives us time to finish the rest of it next week and have time to do our outlining in our pen and everything. But so far, I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Do appreciate it. Tomorrow we will be needle felting. We'll be doing another magnet. I know you guys are probably sick of the magnets, but I like doing the little things because they don't take as long. I might do some wall hangings too. I've got some smaller dowel rods that I can do that with. It would be a little bit bigger, it'd be like a 5x5. But I am liking how the magnets are turning out. So I will see everybody tomorrow for needle felting. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Don't forget to follow all the socially links. We got links to the eBay store, the Ko-fi, the Blue Sky, and the YouTube channel. So until tomorrow.